Hello all. In today's video, we are going to begin with our subject for this semester, public policy. So this term public policy, I am sure, is a term that you are already aware of. Since you had already studied constitutional law, you would have come across this term public policy. So what does the term public policy actually refer to? It generally means the activity of a government. So public policy generally refers to the activity of a government. What does a government decide to do? What does a government decide not to do? That determines the public policy of a government. For example, during the corona period, the government decided to go under lockdown. It was a public policy decision that was taken by the government. So whatever the government chooses to do or chooses not to do for the public, for the welfare of the public, it is called as public policy. So public policy involves various kinds of behavior of the government, including regulation of behavior such as wearing helmets. So it is a public policy decision that no matter who is traveling in a two-wheeler, be it a male or a female, they have to wear helmet. It is a public policy decision taken by the government for the welfare of the people. Similarly, the concept of Swachh Bharat, keeping the public place clean, that is also a public policy that has been taken by the government. Similarly, the methodology to organize bureaucracies, this also comes under the concept of public policy. For example, for how many days we have to wait until a particular work is done by a particular department. Those are all decided by, as a part of public policy. Similarly, distribution of benefits such as in ration shops or any other kind of subsidy such as LPG subsidy, these are all also based on public policy. That is, the government is deciding that in ration shop these are the items that we are going to distribute to the people. Similarly, it is taking a policy decision that out of the 12 cylinders that a person might need for a year, 6 cylinders will fall under the concept of subsidy. So these are decisions that are taken by the government, and these decisions are called as public policy decisions. Similarly, levying of taxes also falls under the category of public policy. Public policy is as old as the concept of government. So whenever there is a government, there is a set of decisions that is being taken by the government. Those decisions fall under the concept of public policy, because government always functions for the people. So when it is functioning for the people, when it is taking decisions for the people, it is called as public policy. No matter what the type of government is, the government always indulges in the aspect of public policy. Be it oligarchy, that is a despotic power, or monarchy, or aristocracy, tyranny, or even democracy. In all these cases, the concept of public policy has always been there. To cope with varied problems and the various kinds of demands that the people make, the government is taking various decisions. So these decisions are based on the policies that the government makes, and it is called as public policy, as I just pointed out. People in general, they have started to demand solution for all kinds of problems, both personal problems and societal problems. This government is expected to give a set of solution to the people, and these set of solutions, these set of decisions are to be designed in such a way that the people's problem is removed, the people's discomfort is alleviated. As more and more people turn towards government for resolving the society's problem and even their personal problem, the government also began to grow in size. And public policy actually in present day scenario, it encompasses every aspect of life. No matter how fast the science is growing, public policy is demanded. It is the demand of the people that the public policy grows equally fast and encompasses all aspects of life. For example, science had brought out the concept of surrogacy. Now, since surrogacy in India, so across the world, as soon as the concept of surrogacy began to evolve across the world, government took policy decisions and brought out various regulations to regulate it. But India, for a long time, it didn't happen. But now, finally, people have woken up, and people they themselves have started to demand that, hello, this is one area wherein you have not made any regulations, you have not regulated it. So please come and regulate it for us, bring in legislations and resolve our queries in our life in this particular area. So the people keep on demanding, and based on those demands, the government is growing in size and its policy areas are also expanding in size, no matter which aspect of life we are looking at. So So this is as far as what is public policy in a very barest sense. Next, most important question is why do we need to study public policy? Yes, one of the most important aspects is it is part of your syllabus. From exam viewpoint, you have to study the subject. Apart from that, why is public policy kept as a subject to be studied? Why do students have to study it? Is it that important? Yes, it is very important because it is discussing about all the aspects of the government's function. Policy became an academic pursuit only during the early 1950s. Before that, it was not that important. Public policy in the beginning, it began to be taught as a part of social science disciplines such as political science and public administration, economics and management. Later on, it stepped foot in law also. So therefore, public policy as a concept, we can see that it is touching almost all aspects of social sciences. So it has actually acquired an interdisciplinary character over a period of time. Study of public policy actually discusses on what are the various causes for why is government taking a decision in a particular area of life, why is it taking the decision, what are the reasons for taking such a decision, and what will happen if such a decision is being taken. So all aspects of the governmental activities, why such a governmental activity is being conducted and what will be the effect of such a governmental activity, all these aspects will be covered under the study of public policy. From analyzing public policy, we can actually understand what is the government doing. Present day government, what is it doing? Whether it is not doing something that needs to be done. What is it doing with respect to every sphere of life, be it defense, health, civil rights, environment, taxes. So all these things we can understand. So if we understand what is happening in India's government, we are understanding what is the public policy of the particular government. So then we can move on to the next step of comparing public policies of different nations. So how a particular government is functioning. So based on that, we can identify whether a particular government is socialistic in nature or it is capitalistic in nature. So all these can be derived from analyzing the public policy of a particular government. So studying public policy will help understand what governments do, why do they do it, and what kind of impact it is having upon people. For example, what kind of policy does a government have with respect to transgender people? So what are the kinds of laws they are going to bring forth? What is the basic ideology behind such laws? These we will be able to understand if we study the public policy behind it. Similarly, budget allocation. So more and more budget allocation, if it is going towards defense, it means that our focus is on ensuring that our borders are safe. If it is going towards education, research, then our focus is on a different area. So that based on budget allocation study, we can understand. Similarly, what is the foreign policy aspect? So generally foreign policy and budget allocation, it might have a link between one another which will form a very interesting area of study. Then based on foreign policy, we can also see what are the various kinds of multilateral treaties that Indian government is entering into. There are certain UN treaties that Indian governments voluntarily go and enter into. There are certain treaties Indian government refuse to enter into no matter what public pressure is being put up by rest of the world. So all these aspects, if we want to understand, we have to understand what is the public policy or what is the ideology behind it. The study of public policy will help us understand what are the various problems that are prevailing in our society and how to improve the society, how to move from the problems that should be left behind in the past and move towards the future which is much better in nature. It also plays a role to protect the private interest of the policy of the people. So public policy in certain times it can be based on the competing interest of two different private parties. If it is between two different private parties, it is generally addressed by the civil courts. And if it is between public and private, then in such cases various other regulatory laws will come into play. Public or administrative law will also shape the plane of bureaucracy or public administration. It will guarantee rule of law and all ideals that are being laid down in our constitution to ensure that our government is functioning in a democratic manner. It plays a role as an enabling authority, and on the other hand, it also monitors arbitrariness and unfairness on part of the bureaucratic or the executive setup of the government. The concept of the welfare state of 19th and 20th century has slowly evolved on basis of authoritative expression by the authority expression in the form of public policy, and public policy generally veers the state and the government from that of capitalistic orientation towards that of socialistic orientation. We always, since you have already studied the constitution, we always have to remember that constitution is the most supreme law, and all public authorities, they are bound by the public policy, bound by the constitution. If any public authority is acting ultra vires of the constitution, at once you can go to the court and get the situation remedied. The policy makers and the administrators, therefore, they are expected to honor the constitution. So if a particular policy is being made, it should not be ultra vires of the constitution, and execute their constitutional responsibility with faithfully, with full response of indulging all its aspect of command, and it should be done in a very desirable manner, so that the people are also kept in a happy state of affair. With respect to the law and public policy, one of the most important tendency in recent age lies with delegation of law-making authority to that of the executive, because the areas wherein interference from the government is required by the people has grown over a period of time. So when you study administrative law, we would see that administrative law is actually pointing out the fact that executive is more and more involved in drafting legislations, drafting rules, drafting public policy. The public policy makers or the administrators in the executive are no longer merely an agency to implement the laws, but they are, as I just pointed out, they are delegated with the power to enact regulatory laws. So to understand how the administration of a government happens, how the executive wing of the government is functioning, and whether it is functioning properly, whether the bridge between the constitution and the administrative law is properly functioning, the concept of public policy needs to be understood very well. That is the main reason why we need to understand what is public policy, and that is the reason why it is a part of your syllabus. With this, we are coming to an end for this particular video. That's it for now, Kanna. Thank you. Have a very lovely day. If you are having any doubts, please raise your queries and get them clarified. Thank you, Kanna.